Hello and welcome, and thank you for joining me. Today we're going to look at some more prompt template examples, and we're going to try to use a prompt template within a flow. So I'm very excited to try this out. I'm not an expert, but I'm just tinkering and wanted to share what it all looks like and maybe come up with some use cases. All right, so we're going to start here in the setup. So here's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to create a flex prompt template, and then I'm going to use that with a screen flow. So for that, first I'm going to go to my setup. Let's first create a prompt template. I'm going to use a flex prompt template. If you are not familiar with different template types, please check out my other video where I talk about what is the use cases for different template types. I'm going to call it summarize case for customer. And because it's a flex type, I'm going to define two entry points or sources. Case, and let's search that object, case number, and I'm going to make it a free text so that we can have the customer enter the case number. That's kind of the scenario. So let's say we have a chatbot or a screen flow, and we can ask the customer to provide the case number, and then we can find the details and generate that prompt. And for the sake of simplicity, I'm going to just copy paste an existing template. I'm going to change all of these. So let's remove all of that we don't need. And I'm not super worried about my name and the customer name and stuff like that. So it's all good. By this time, you should be familiar with the basic structure of a prompt template. In this case, I can just change the order with the case. And what I'm saying is generate a text message. It must not be longer than 60 words. And I'm saying, do not use filler words and stuff like that. And I'm asking, what I'm going to say is add the following information to the text message. So I want the text message to have the case number and then some basic information about the case. So this is where we're going to use the resource picker and add the case number. That was the input. And then I'm going to say, instead of this, summarize the case using, we can add certain fields from the case. So we can say reason, case type, maybe what else we want to do, maybe description, and so on. So this portion is fine. It really depends on the use case and how you are trying to use it. I'm gonna just save this and activate. Before we can use it in a flow, we have to activate this. Now let's go to flow builder, flow, new flow. We're gonna use a screen flow for this example. One thing to note that took me some time to basically get used to it is, for example, if you wanted to use a flow in your prompt, then you can use these flows. So this flow right here, for a flow to be available here, you have to create a flow of template triggered prompt flow. So you have to create a flow here, and then that can appear over here. So the use case for that would be, let's say you wanted to get data from different sources and you already have an existing flow that you can use. So you can convert that flow and use it in your prompt to make your prompt and ground the prompt with more data, more rich data about your org. So that will be a use case where you use the reverse. But what we are trying to do is we're trying to use an existing prompt inside a flow. So it's a little bit of different use case. So we're going to go here, create a screen flow. It's not going to be super fancy, but I just wanted to show what it could look like. So I'm just going to add a simple screen here. So make it a text input, and we're going to ask something like provide your case number, and that's pretty much it. Let's just say get case info. That's my basic screen. And then I'm going to say, I'm going to query, use a get record to query the information about that case. Case number equals whatever the customer entered in that screen flow, and we can store all the fields. And then next step, so after you get the case, so we have the screen asking for the case number, and then we grab some case records. Then I'm gonna hit plus and use action. So this is what I really wanted to show. So you can search for all your prompts inside the action, and they are probably in a different category according to Salesforce. Yeah, prompt template. So all your prompts are gonna appear under the prompt template category in your actions. You can select the prompt template, and that has all the templates that I created so far. We can use the one we just created, summarize case for customer, this one. And you can see all my prompts are appearing here. And then once you do that, we have some required fields to enter. So case, because we decided that case and case number is going to be our input variable. So think of it like using a subflow basically. So we're going to use a case, and in this scenario we have case from get case, so that can be our case. You can just remove the dot. It needs to be a record variable type variable. And case number, we already have that information from that screen, case info dot case number. Okay, so those are the two variables, and I can just call it. So that's my action. Now to show what it actually generates, we're going to use another screen, and let's use display text. And you can use the resource. So the moment you use the resource, you can see you have action. So just like any other action, you can use the action and then go to prompt response from there. We can save this. Now we can see this in action. So I'm going to hit debug, and I'm going to just use one of the case numbers because I need to provide your case number. So I'm going to provide my case number here. Hit next. It's querying the case information, then passing that information onto the prompt to generate. It created all this message. All I gave it was the case number and some parameters. And you can definitely make it better, make it sound more human. And this is a very basic example of how you can use prompt template in your screen flows to make it even more user-friendly, so that you can use some of the power of generative AI. You can even go back to your prompt and tweak it. You can ask the prompt, maybe you want it more friendly tone, or you want to add more information here. You can do all of that, and then activate the prompt and then test your flow. Thank you so much for watching. This was very exciting for me to tinker around and try out and share this. Please let me know if you think of any use cases that you're trying to solve, and if you have any questions around prompt templates.